Hey everybody, welcome back to Havoc Maker Studio. John here, and I've got some things to chat about, and let's just get right into this. So you've heard me talk about the Affinity, not Infinity, RPG source book for 5e that has come out from DSX Machina. Those videos are down below. There's an accompanying video, the Ultramodern 5. It's a very lengthy review, but it ties in with this. So first, before we get into it, make sure you jump down below, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. I would super appreciate it. Plus, I've got a contest going on right now. If I can get 100 subscribers by the end of April, by the end of this Kickstarter that we're about to go over, I will give out free PDF copy to at least one person. So it'll be the full color PDF version of all three books. Now, if you end up having like one combination, like maybe you bought one, but you would like the other two, I got you covered. And then that third one or those other two, whichever the combination is, I'll make sure those go out to another of the subscribers. Now, I'll tell you what, if we get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I will give out a full color hardback set of these. So it's 3 books, which is accompanied by the PDFs. So let's get into talking about this. Now, you've already probably watched my preview video about the Affinity. Now, what this one is going to be focusing on is one of the books in particular, in this case, Conestoga. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but we're going to go over it together. Not in full detail, because there's only so much I can reveal without A, spoilers, and B, I don't want to get in trouble from the creator. They've been very gracious enough to let me have access to some preview copies for the show. So I'd like to stay in their good graces. I just wanted to show off this within the first hour of going live. They already cleared their funding. Now, 6 days in, we're at 29,000. I mean, that's like 600%. Maybe even a little bit more. That might be like 7, probably pushing 800% over goal. I'll let the big brains do the math. That is very good. So good that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe 5 stretch goals have been met. We got tons more illustrations, 2 new character races, and we've got, I think it was heavyweight paper, so a much finer paper instead of like the basic stuff you can get at, say, if you wanted to go print something off at Office Depot. It's a better quality paper. All right, so but you don't care about that right now. You want to know what's going on with Conestoga and what I can reveal. So let's go ahead and show that to you guys. All right, so like I said, this is the Conestoga preview. This is a sci-fi setting. It is interconnected with the other 2 Affinity books. How? Well, you're going to have to get the books to find out, because I'm not going to tell you. It's good, though. I don't want to reveal any spoilers, because it will kind of, I think, ruin the mystery of it. So the Conestoga is set in an unknown time period, in an unknown part of the galaxy, unknown part of the universe. And we have a variety of races stranded, if you will, on this mystery vessel, the Conestoga, this massive world ship that is thousands of kilometers long. And you as players and as the dungeon master or game master, storyteller, whatever you prefer title-wise, it is on you to explore this and to solve the mysteries of where you came from. Why are you all here? So across the outer surface of this vessel are 25 exclaves. Now, an exclave is very similar to an enclave. It's basically a geographical sovereign type nation. One is surrounded by other nations. The other one surrounds the nation. So I don't I don't know which is which. I'll let the politicals and the geographic type people, I'll let you guys figure that one out. So this game gives you access to all 25 of those that you can explore, because some of them have been abandoned. Some are occupied, which means that you can go visit, you can trade, and maybe even wage war, whether that's a political war, a war of espionage, or open warfare. Now, there are 12 human exclaves out of those 25. with their own backgrounds and character bonuses. So whenever you're making your character in this game, using the 5e Dungeons and Dragons rules, which it does require you to have that book. You do not need the Ultramodern 5. I'll get into that in a minute. When you make your characters, one of the last things you do is pick a background, and that background kind of helps define of what you are, where you came from, basically your past, and might set some goals for the future. And they always give bonuses like some bonus skills, maybe some bonus equipment, and sometimes some, home knickknacks, to remind you of home, or maybe your girlfriend or husband, whatever. So we also have 3 new races on top of the humans. The humans, like I said, there are 12 variations. So instead of 12 different human races, it's really more of 12 different human cultures. So you have those 12 variations. Then you also have the 3 new races, the Endolon, and it looks like there's going to be another one called another type of Endolon, another version of the Endolon. And they're very similar to elves. I don't want to say space elves, but I know people will be like, oh, you mean like space elves? Just like we talk about Space Google in some sci-fi games. Then we have the Scrim and the Scab. Now I'm going to let you figure this one out once you get your copy of Conestoga. The Scrim and the Scab are very similar in appearance. However, one is insectoid with an adaptive capability that makes them look like the other, which is actually mammalian. So one's an insect, one's a mammal, but they both look very, very similar. Then we have this compatibility, like I was talking about earlier, with 5e. So any type of game that relies on the 5e system always requires one of those source books, one of the Wizards of the Coast source books, the new Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I always think that, and I'm probably wrong on this, but I think you can get by with just the player's handbook. Of course, the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Monster Manual, of course, are going to be extremely helpful in running your game, but I don't know if they're quite required. Most of the core rules are in, or all the core rules are in the player's handbook. So I think you can get by without it. And you do not need the Ultramodern 5, which was the original Kickstarter, very successful Kickstarter, that the Affinity books were attached to, but they got so big themselves, they warranted a separate Kickstarter. Now, the Ultramodern 5 is what Dungeons & Dragons should be. All my videos on Ultramodern 5 and Affinity, I might be simping for this, I don't know, but Ultramodern 5 is, I would say, the definitive way to play 5e. It's what Dungeons & Dragons, or the creators over at Wizards of the Coast, if they make a new edition, it's what they should aspire to. The amount of diversity, and if I'm not sure if I did my math right, but Ultramodern 5 itself, for character creation, it's either about 400,000 different character variations before you get to all the special abilities that each, I don't want to say class, but everything that goes into character generation has, or it's around 100 million. I know that's a big gap. I'm not sure if I did my math right or if I'm reading the calculator correctly, but Ultramodern 5, I think you should have it for any of these Affinity books. Moving on. So we also got 7 new backgrounds. Backgrounds, like I said, provide a variety of not only in-game bonuses, but they also provide the players and the game master or the storyteller, whatnot, the bits and pieces of background information that they can use to create stories tailor-made for the various players. And then we have these things called ladders. Those come from Ultramodern 5. There's 2 new ladders. Now, the ladders, if a background is where you come from or kind of like who you were, the ladder is who you are now and how you're living. And these give you even greater customization over the background. So one's the past, one's the present, before you even get to your class. So there's a lot of variations here. Now, there are various legendary locations that are strewn about Conestoga on top of whatever you come with. You can create your own locations. You could just go with a small little corner pocket of Conestoga, this like 4,000 kilometer long vessel. I think it's about 1,000 kilometers deep and about 700 kilometers wide. It is massive. There's a lot to explore. It's a world ship, essentially. So these legendary locations are just famous ones, and like a lot of the other portions of the Affinity book, gives a lot of detail about these locations that you can use and intertwine into your stories. There's one or two, definitely one particular location that I think is really ideal, and we'll get into that when we talk about the power armor. Yes, there is power armor because this is a sci-fi version of the game that can be tied in with the legendary, maybe get your first adventure down for the players. It could be a lot of fun, and it gives a great deal of opportunity for you and the players to really kind of shape the path that they're going to follow for future games. So there's also 40 new monsters, from the ever-present and deadly Watchers to the terrifying Piccadee. I know I'm laughing, but when you read the Piccadee, I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. There's also, as I said before, is a new race that's locked behind a stretch goal. That stretch goal has been met, and I got this one I want to stress a lot is that it has one of the most robust and unique loot systems in out of anything with Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, those days of boring old loot where it's like, oh, we got some gold coins and some semi-precious gems, and oh look, it's our 60th statue of a goddess or a god or a demon thing that we can sell for 15 gold. Yay. Oh, did we just get a work of art? Yay. That's so much fun. No, no, no. That is gone. This loot system is highly detailed, and it's actually a lot more than just getting something of like monetary value. It can be very vital in several of the new systems that are involved in how to play this game. So you combine that with the Ultramodern 5 loot tables. Oh my goodness. Just kiss. I mean, look, just kiss it goodbye. The whole boring loot thing where people are like, oh, I don't care about the loot. No, they're going to look as forward to the loot as they are to the exploration, to the role playing, and to the encounters. Trust me on this. So there's already a massive array of new equipment, weapons, and monsters, so much that I cannot go through because we'll be here for hours. And I know you guys like hearing my voice, but let's not go down that road. I'll go hoarse. So there's a new crafting system that really heightens I guess your connection, the senses to this setting, and it's extremely unique because there's a variety of blueprints. And how do you get those blueprints? Well, go look for them, or maybe you figure it out when you're deconstructing weapons and armor. Which, if you're deconstructing weapons armor, like some modern online video games, you might get components, and those components are needed to craft these different types of weapons and armor and such from these blueprints. And let me tell you about blueprints, or at least the firearms. There are about 11,000 combinations of firearms. They're very modular, and you'll see it when you get a peek into it. But there are various components that go into the construction of very unique firearms, especially tailor-made for this character class or that character class or this character's role-playing style. And everything just blends quite nicely. You are really going to look forward to it. It's almost like I don't know, mini game. I want to say mini game inside the game. Now, the thing I talked about earlier was the power armor. These things are called crutches. Now, I'm not talking about the mobility aids when you roll your ankle or you break a leg or something like that. No, no, no. We're talking about these exoframes that are also a bit of a power armor. It's a combination of the two. Now, each of these are unique suits that allow you to customize it. About 150 different upgrades, and then those upgrades have different marks or improvements that you might be able to find. And you combine that with the 40 different crutch types, or over 40 crutch types, and what's called shells and cages. Well, let me back up. Crutches is the overall terminology for the suits of armor. There are cages, which are kind of the more, you can find these sometimes. They're more of the, I don't want to say mass produced because you can't go out and buy these. You have to either find them or build them yourself. But they're the more common type. And then the shells are much more advanced suits that have some internal standard systems like flight, invisibility, that sort of thing. And you can combine it with all these different upgrades. And oh boy, let me tell you, you are going to you're going to be really amazed, especially if you follow the Ultra Modern 5 character creation system. You're essentially creating another character to go around with your main character. Now, mind you, it's a suit of armor, but it's got its own feel, its own I don't know, spirit animus to it. So you combine all that together, and you are going to have endless character creation, endless options to have fun with this game. Now, moving on, the Kickstarter, like I said, is live. It was funded in an hour. Now, it's, 6 days later? We're at, oh goodness, almost $30,000. We'll probably be $30,000 the next day or two. There are a variety of formats, monochrome or color PDF. You can buy one, you can buy all three. Choose your variation, different prices. They have the full color hardback and individual or grouped with Paradise and Taurus. Those are the other two books. How are they interconnected? I'll let you figure that out once you buy these and read them. Now, I do have to put a little disclaimer. I am not associated or sponsored by Deus Ex Machina. I am doing this all on my own. So I mentioned in the beginning that I am doing a challenge basically for this channel. If either one or both of the goals that I talked about earlier and I'm about to talk about again are reached by the end of the Kickstarter, I will give away copies of this Kickstarter. So the first one is 100 followers by the end of the Kickstarter. One full set of full color PDFs will be given away to a random subscriber. If we get 1,000 followers, not only will I give away those full color PDFs, but I will also give away a full set of those full color hardbacks, which also includes the PDFs, will be given away to a random subscriber. So how do you enter? Jump down below, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. You're entered. That's it. It doesn't cost anything to enter except your time to hit subscribe. And if you don't have a YouTube account, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and make one. So with that being said, my name is John. This is Havoc Maker Studio. I hope I have at least teased enough about the Conestoga, the sci-fi version of the Infinity Kickstarter. This source book, I think, is going to be, right now, is my favorite out of all three of them that I'm reading. The next is the Taurus, and then, of course, the Paradise is the last one. And I'll have those videos up later this week. You all have yourself a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all later.